Hey everybody, it is Friday, October 10th, and this is episode 14, the glorious return of Super Gametalk Turbo HD Remix.
Well, we finally got the band back together.
Yeah, it's been so long. I know you guys have missed us. Definitely. I mean, I know of at least two of you that have asked specifically, when would it return? And the answer is now.
I get at least one letter per week written in someone's blood asking us to come back.
It's kind of disturbing. I think those letters should stop.
Yeah, really. I don't know if it's your blood or somebody else's, but...
We've notified the authorities.
Yeah. And I don't know where that blood's been, so be cool.
Yeah. So I'm your host, Travis DOJ. I'm no longer Capanius.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You went through that change.
Yeah, I'm rebranding.
Rebranding?
Yeah.
I feel like the old brand kind of had a lot of luggage to it, so you're just kind of reinventing yourself.
Well, what happened is, back in the day when I first started playing video games and first started creating online IDs, I was like, Travis DOJ. It's my old AOL account. And then I was like, I'll be Capanius. And then 15 other people were like, I'll be Capanius. And then I had to get all these, So.
Yeah, well, my first online moniker, or at least email, back in the AOL 2.0 days, was almost Johnny Pimp. I'm so very glad that somebody else took that. Whoever's out there, thank you very much for taking that.
Saved yourself a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it sure did. Yes, and a lot of sadness.
So yeah, I'm going all the way back to 1998 and going with Travis DOJ. So in that time though, we've been playing the Vidya games, and we're here to talk about them. Now, I don't think we're gonna talk about every video game we've played since episode 13.
That might take a while.
But what have you been playing lately?
First game I want to talk about is a game that very few people are talking about, Shadow of Mordor. You might not have heard of it. That joke's been overplayed. I think we've overdone that one.
Okay.
Anyway, yes.
It's popular.
Yes, it's ridiculously popular. I have to say, this game was completely not on my radar at first.
No, I don't think it was on many people's radar. I think there have been so many mediocre Lord of the Rings games. It's like, another Lord of the Rings game.
Right. So I kind of assumed it's going to be the same thing. So I didn't even watch any of the videos. I'd see it pop up on E3. Next, we're talking about Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. I'll watch that later.
Yeah.
And then people kept talking about it, and I'm like, hey, why are people excited about this? It's another Lord of the Rings game. So finally, about 2 weeks before it came out, I was like, well, I'm going to watch some gameplay trailers. And I was like, holy cow, this looks bad. Well, what triggered me was somebody said, yeah, Shadow of Mordor's Batman likes combat. I was like, that
sounds pretty good.
Why didn't you just name this game Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor with Batman-style combat? And I would have been all over that from day one.
It's like, it benefits them that Batman was delayed.
Yes, it does.
Oh, we can be the only Batman game.
We're medieval-ish. Wow. Batman, sort of. So I watched the videos, I watched the combat and the whole Nemesis system, and I was like, this game looks really cool. So
tell me about it. What's the Nemesis system?
The Nemesis system, the way it works is you're working to kind of undermine Sauron's army from within. You're trying to kill the generals and the captains and the leaders. So there's this hierarchy of captains, this captain reports to this one and this one reports to this one. And I'm sure there's military titles. I don't know the difference between a captain and whatever, but it goes all the way to the grand chieftain whatever. And those are the nasty ones. Well, you can find these we'll just call them chiefs.
Okay.
Captains.
I think they're war captains.
Yeah, war chiefs I think are the top. I think the war chiefs are the top.
Them captains.
Right, and I'm just going to call all of them captains because I can't remember what the other titles they were.
That seems good.
But, so you can actually tag these captains if you know about them because you start off not knowing anything about them. You have to either find the lower level guys and interrogate them and find out about them, or what's cool is you can be finding this group of orcs just because it's more open world, right? So it's kind of Batman, where you're running to your next quest objective and you see a camp of orcs that are holding these human slaves. It's like, I'm going to go break that camp up. And all of a sudden you get attacked by a captain, and it sets off this very short cinematic scene where he attacks you and you're holding your weapons against each other, and he talks crap to you and it says his name, and you can kill him or interrogate him, whatever, but he's definitely tougher than the typical orcs. And when you kill him, it leaves a hole in the army's structure. And as the game goes on, these holes will get filled with new orcs. Like orcs will move up. And also, if you die to a captain, they can actually level up and go up further in the hierarchy and become tougher. So the next time you see them, they're actually harder to kill. And they'll also make comments about like, oh, I thought I killed you before, or oh, you're back from the dead, things like that. And I've heard they'll also make other specifics. Like if you catch one on fire, maybe he'll say something about fire the next time you see him, something like that. I haven't run into that myself yet. But another thing that's really cool is if you get killed by a random orc, that orc can actually be promoted and now actually becomes like a lower level chieftain who himself can now move up the ranks.
That's really cool.
So it's really neat. And just a whole neat system. And then there's killing chieftains will give you runes, which you use to upgrade your bow and your sword. And also what's really cool is each chieftain has like weaknesses. And if you kill a chieftain with his weakness, you'll get a specific type of rune. So if he has like a stealth type weakness where he can be like a chieftain, normally can't be killed with a single backstab. But if one has a weakness of that and you kill it with a backstab, you'll get a stealth type upgrade specifically every time. So it's a really cool and I think well thought out system. And it's just fun to run around and do missions. And it's like, I'm just going to go do this mission. Or I'm going to go kill this named guy. Oh, this named orc killed me before. I'm going to track him down and I'm going to kill him because I want, get revenge on him. Mm-hmm. But it's a hell of a lot of fun. The combat's a little bit, definitely on the easier side. With Batman, with the Batman style combat, if you're not aware, you basically, attack. You've got combos you can do and all that. But when you're about to get attacked by an enemy, it flashes an icon over their head so that you can parry them. And it's the same thing here. When you're about to get attacked, you get like the parry. Some attacks you can't parry, so you have to dodge out of the way, things like that. So it's very similar in that aspect. It's a lot easier though, because in Batman, you could often, if you like spam left click too much, or if you use the last end of a combo, sometimes you couldn't break out of the animation, if I remember right. But this game seems a lot more forgiving in that. Like, I don't really spam click a lot because I'm used to more Batman style, so I know not to do that. So maybe that's why I don't get punished as much. But pretty much, like, I can wait till almost the last second and right click and boom, parry.
So does it feel good? Like, does it feel like Batman? Like they got the...
It does. The animations... In particular, the combat animation seems smooth. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's going to be some jerkiness if you're facing one guy and you parry a guy 180 degrees behind you at 2 frames before he hits you. There's going to be some jerk. There's just nothing can be done about that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's just really smooth how you move from one orc to the other. There's tons of like a kill animations. So, for example, if you knock an orc on the ground, or Urk, I guess I should say. Urk. I'm sure the Lord of the Ring fans out there are like, yeah, you dirty bastard.
And that's the funny thing is when I first heard about this game, like I'm not super into like there's Lord of the Rings nuts out there.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like I don't care. Like I like the movies. Like
I do too. I
enjoyed them. I like the original trilogy. That story's good. But if you delve into like Silmarillion and all that crap, it's like I don't care at all.
And
like,
this is gonna cause a drastic drop in our viewership. But I had to say, I read the Lord of the Rings books. Thought they were very boring. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like, same thing. I love the movies more than the books.
Oh, yes.
I enjoyed them more than the books. And I feel like that is like blasphemy to some people. Like,
God, yes. Lord, yes. And people are like, yeah, I'll get it. I'm like, he just drug stuff out too much. But anyway, the animations are smooth. There's lots of kill animations. And another thing that I never really hear anybody talk about, which I don't read a lot of reviews, but I'm on Twitter a lot and whatnot, but I don't see people talk about the facial animation of the orcs. Like, they're so good. Like, there's some ability you have where you've got this, like, spirit with you, and you can use them to interrogate the orcs. And you basically put your hand on them, and they're, like, supposed to be terrified. But, like, the look on their faces and the way their eyes, like, move around and, like... It's like, I actually like felt kind of bad for the orcs. Because like you could really see they looked horrifically terrified.
Wow.
And you're like, whoa. We're like, let's step it back. This doesn't...
turn this off.
This doesn't feel right. But yeah, like, and just when they're talking, like it's damn good. Like it really looks like they're talking. They have those weird like orc facial tics and stuff.
Yeah.
and the way they carry themselves, and it's just really, really well done.
All right, that's it. I want this game. I'm buying this game.
It's just such a damn good game. Like
I've heard people already using the words "Game of the Year."
Yeah. Oh, it's without question will be in my top 3 to 4 list, because I don't tend to pick like one game that I think is a game of the year.
Yeah.
Even though this year it'll probably be Bayonetta 2, but
which hasn't even come out yet.
yes,
come on.
I'm already declaring it.
I
Game
heard
of the year.
that
I played the demo.
you can beat it in 15 minutes and it's bad.
That's okay. Game of the year. The best 15 minutes. It's just like Gone Home, though, right? It's about the quality of the content. Who cares that you can beat that game in 2 hours? It's so feelsy.
Yeah,
but,
I would be willing to bet that Bayonetta 2 can elicit the same emotions as Gone Home. That sounds about right.
It does make me cry a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just like I said, just completely a month before the game came out, I couldn't have cared less.
It's funny because I remember one of our former coworkers, Mark. I guess I didn't say his first name. I think we've ragged.
We've said
Mark
his
on the
first name
podcast
before, but then like I said his last name and I had to bleep it out.
Okay, yeah, we're not giving out last names.
Which is no.
Yeah. So Mark was talking about this game like 10 months ago, like forever ago. It was before E3, like, and he was super excited about it. And usually that's a sign that I shouldn't be excited about it.
Well, this to keep it in perspective, this is the same Mark who was excited about the Star Wars Kinect game. Let's just throw that out there.
It really he just is super nuts about anything Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. Like,
is he Lord of the Rings too?
Oh yeah, like he went to the second Hobbit movie on midnight release.
Oh, okay.
Like, who is excited about Hobbit movies? Like,
I thought the first one was all right.
Right. I thought it was okay. Like, but I'm saying like he's midnight release. Like, you took the shortest book and made it into 3 movies. Like, I don't know. I think
that felt
dumb.
pretty. Yeah, that was. I don't get that. And I actually liked The Hobbit, though.
I love the book.
I think that book
so
was
good.
much better than Lord of the Rings.
That's the funny thing. It's like I think The Hobbit is a way better book than Lord of the Rings, but the movies, The Lord of the Rings, is better than The Hobbit.
Yeah, I mean that's without question.
So yeah.
Eagle. I love when he does that. Well, to himself, I guess. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert: his name is Smeagol.
Man, you gotta side these spoilers. It's crazy.
Hashtag spoiler. And hashtag spoiler. But long
so
story short, buy Shadow of Mordor.
Yes. Yep, definite buy.
Without question, buy that game. Dead Rising 3, I feel like I taught this game like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But I bought it and I beat it on the PC. Or at least the main part. I haven't done the DLC. Overall, I still think it's really good. If you like the other Dead Risings, you'll like this one. If you didn't like the other Dead Risings, you're probably not going to like this one. It does get repetitive, but it's like... It's
Are
repetitive.
There any differences from the Xbox One version, or?
I think in that it contains all the DLC and stuff with it automatically. Yeah. Other than that, I can't remember offhand. I know that you can, by default, you can't go over 30 FPS, but you have to, like, if you change a file or something. But I have a pretty decent machine, and it already does
games for you.
Yeah,
you just edit this INI file real quick.
They knew.
Yeah,
but they even supported it. This wasn't like some hidden INI like a lot of times it is. Yeah. This was like, hey guys, if you want over 30 FPS, this is how to do it.
So they just didn't bother putting...
the reason they said they didn't put it in the settings, I think, was because changing it from 30 FPS broke some things, like cinematics and stuff like that. So it caused problems. So they didn't want to put an option in the game that would cause problems. So I can understand that. That makes sense. And... You know, I got
just
definitely
make it
got
a physical switch on your computer. You know, but
I got the feeling that the developers, or at least some of them, definitely were PC like gamers. Like I feel like they really wanted this to be badass, and I feel like the executives were like, yeah, whatever, just whatever. And I feel like because there were definitely some bugs on release, like it was crashing, and for some people, in fact myself included, and there was some other bugs and stuff, and they were pretty on top of it. So I feel like they had some PC like gamers there who really wanted it to be like a good version. And you know, I definitely enjoyed it. It looked good. It didn't run that great.
So you did a let's play of the whole thing? That's cool.
It's actually still going, and probably will be for like another month. But yeah, it was a good game. I'm going to look at the DLC, and I'll probably actually go back and get all the blueprints, all the extras. One cool thing they've done is, like the other games, it's broken up into chapters. But with this one, because I think if I remember right, in at least the first game, once you like beat the game, like you went through the story, you could just keep playing. Like you just basically, all right, well here's your character, keep going forever. With this one, you can't quite do that. Your option to continue is gone, but you can go back and pick a chapter. So you can just pick a chapter, and you'll keep all your upgrades, and keep going back and getting all the collectibles and doing whatever. So
that sounds like a weird thing that Dead Rising would do.
Yeah. It was definitely a very, very weird game, but good. Also, I've been playing the MMO Arcade. This is another game that kind of came out of nowhere.
You've been playing a lot of this, haven't you?
Arcade?
I've seen you talk about it quite a bit.
Yeah, I played a lot of it for a while, and I kind of been playing other stuff, not because I lost interest in it, but I just kind of had other stuff to play. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it's different than other MMOs in that there's a lot of like things that you're like, that seems weird. Like for example, you can do caravan runs where you have to gather these materials and make them, and then walk them somewhere else. But like while you're walking with it, you're like a lot slower than normal. But you make like pretty decent money, and the further away you go, the more money you can make. But if you start going into really dangerous territories, like other players can kill you and take the pack. So it becomes a case of, well, do we have some carriers, and then we have like a few guards going with them. You can also build your own boats and just sail on the ocean. And I think there's like a bunch of islands that you can go to and do stuff. You can actually deep sea dive, where you build like a diving suit and you dive into the ocean, and you can find like sunken ships and stuff with treasure, and you can send the treasure.
You can right click on glowing things down there.
Yes,
all right.
That's what I've heard. I haven't got to that point yet.
Okay.
You can be a pirate, and like you can attack other sailing vessels, other player sailing vessels, and all that kind of stuff. So you can build houses. There's non-instance housing, or you can build housing in certain areas. You can have like farms. So it's been pretty neat so far.
Yeah. Now, did you hit a cap, or like have you?
I haven't capped out yet.
Yeah.
It seems like it'd be easy though, because leveling seems really fast so far. I think the level cap is 50, and I'm already like 20. I think I'm actually almost 30 now. So, or maybe 50 or 60. But regardless, it's really fast leveling, especially because it's a Korean game.
Yeah,
and so that's unusual.
Now you've been doing a lot of non-combat stuff.
Yes, I've been doing a lot of non-combat, like kind of trying to work on my trade skills a little bit, doing the trade runs because it's a lot of good money, and just a lot of other kind of like side things, just running around, trying to find other people's illegal crops to harvest, steal. But
nice.
Yeah, they stole my crops, so I'm going to steal theirs. By God.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
It's got this weird labor system where you generate labor while you're online. Mm-hmm. It's a free-to-play game, so...
Just like child labor? Or
I wish. That'd be probably easier to get them to farm my stuff. But you can, like, you get labor by being logged in. If you don't pay, like if you're free-to-play, you get 5 labor every 5 minutes while you're logged in, but 0 while you're logged out. And then if you're paid, it's like $15 a month. You're what's called a patron. You get 15 labor. You get 10 labor every 5 minutes. While you're on, 5 minutes 5 points every 5 minutes. You're not logged on, so you're always getting labor points. And you use those labor points for things like crafting, identifying some items, building houses. A lot of these kind of side things. You don't really ever use them for questing or anything, but.
So does that max out? Like, say you log out for like 6 months, and then you come back.
Yeah. If you're a patron, for example, I think the cap is 6,000, 5,000 or 6,000.
Wow.
But some things take a lot of labor.
Yeah.
Like creating a single breastplate took me 100 labor. So it was pretty nuts. Doing one trade run, I think, was either 60 labor. No, I think it was like 100 or 120 labor to do a single trade run. It's an interesting system.
Yeah.
I haven't made a full judgment yet. I kind of like it because it puts a limit on how much you can create, like a pretty hard limit on how much crafting you can do, and how much you can do in period. Because if you got somebody who's playing 12 hours a day, they can be crafting all this stuff and building their house and doing all this other crap. Well, doesn't matter how many touch time you have, you can only still create this much stuff. So it creates more of a market for varied things to make. So, maybe nobody's making this. I'll make this because they're using all their labor points somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I kind of like the idea of systems, things that accumulate while you're logged out.
Yeah.
Because when you log in and like it just has that like you start out and you're just like, oh, I got this labor, I got this. Like it started out.
I can go make some armor now or do whatever.
Yeah, like I remember the experience buff in WoW when you log out for a while. If you're in an inn and then you come back and your experience bar is purple for a while, it's like, oh yeah, this is great. Like
it actually doesn't have rest XP.
Yeah,
but it doesn't really need it because, like I say, you level pretty quick. Graphically, it looks really good. It's kind of got that more typical Asian style,
which I like. Vibe.
Yeah, which I think is far better than the US way the US MMOs look.
I know that WoW's supposed to get a graphical update.
Yeah, I mean,
it seems pretty iterative. Like,
yeah, it's definitely nothing major because they don't. Yeah. They got all these people running horrific machines from 2004.
Yeah, but this is like the first graphical update, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
they're taking it from like 1998 standards to 2005 standards.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I've seen some videos showing it, like the models, and it's like that's better, but it's not.
Are you gonna get it?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to just to see what the new stuff, but there's no new class and no new race.
That does seem pretty crazy.
I mean, I guess at this point they figure most people are tired of leveling. I don't know. Like nowadays, I just like the leveling.
I will always take a new race in an expansion.
Yeah,
I think it's fun to try out roll a new character or a new class. When you have both a new race and a new class, like Mists of Pandaria was fun because you got a brand new starter zone. You had more content. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. And I just like leveling in MMOs. Like usually when I get to the max level, that's pretty much I'm like okay, well. I'm done, like, because I don't with the trying to do the YouTube thing. I don't really have enough time to. YouTube thing plus an actual real gerb. I can't. I don't have time to I'm gonna get a Raiden guild.
Yeah, it's just like the scheduling is so rigid. It's like
I totally understand it being that way.
Yeah,
but I just can't. I don't really want to. Well, I can't. I don't want to. So I'm just like, okay, and whatever. So, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. I gotta say, it's the first MMO that's really sucked me in a while.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I kind of miss that feeling. Like, it's kind of fun when you really get hooked on an MMO.
Yeah,
and I haven't been hooked on one in probably 6 years. So
yeah, and the really thing about Arcade is what have I been spending the last 4 hours on? I haven't gained a single level, or I haven't killed a single creature. But yeah, I've been farting around with farms and transporting goods from one place to another and trying to steal other people's crops. It's like, what am I doing? It's like, what did I spend the last 4 hours doing?
Yeah, it's funny when it used to be you feel like, man, all I've been doing is crafting. But now it's like, I haven't even been doing that.
yeah. So I can't even tell you what I've been doing, but I think I've been enjoying it.
That's cool. So that's free to play?
Yeah, it is free to play. The other nice thing it has, which I wish every MMO would do, is that you can become a subscriber using in-game money. You can buy these items, which you can then turn in to buy these other items, which make you a patron for a month. Mm-hmm. So if you're good with your money, you can actually just keep a paid subscription without paying real money, which I think is always a good idea for every MMO. I know Terra does it. I know Eve does it. Eve Online.
Yeah.
Also Excel in space.
Yes. Spreadsheets.
EVE Online people hate that. It's not spreadsheets in space.
I feel fortunate in that I've not encountered anybody from EVE Online. So
I've run into people who've played it. I've played it myself, but I didn't.
Tried. I totally tried.
It's got a horrific learning curve.
Insane. I honestly think it would. I'd rather just fly a real spaceship.
It's probably easier. Yeah.
It's probably just as complicated. Yeah, it was nuts.
But that's mostly what I'm playing. I'm playing some other stuff. I played Vanishing Ethan Carter. That was pretty. I haven't beat it yet, but it's pretty neat. It's in mystery, like a mystery type game.
Okay,
it's supernatural mystery. It's pretty cool.
Is it what's the type of game? Is it a third person game? Is it
it's first? Game, it's like first person supernatural investigator.
Cool. That should be the name of it. I like that better than Vanishing of Ethan Carter.
I should hit them up. Say, hey, it's not too late. You guys can change your
Or
name.
at least the subtitle. Vanishing of Ethan Carter, first person supernatural investigator.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
I think
like
they should
that.
do that. Mm-hmm. Speaking of investigation, I played the Sherlock Holmes game, Crimes and Punishment. Again, I haven't beat it. I've beat the first case. Overall, I like it, but I'm biased because I love Sherlock Holmes.
How did these games get so popular? They seem so niche. Like they seem like the kind of games that you'd see like at Staples on CD.
Yeah.
But they have a big I
think the new
base.
show. I think the show helps, the Sherlock show, because I bet like if that show wasn't around, probably nobody would really care. But dorks like me, who, I mean, there was the Robert Downey Jr. movies, but
we won't even discuss those. So, what do they even have to do to get the license of a public domain character? Like,
nothing out of it.
yeah, so it's like
I could probably make a Sherlock Holmes game right now and sell it.
I feel like now I'm not saying like that they're doing something wrong or whatever, but I just think it's funny that like I think they've been making these games for like 10 years. Like they've been making these games for a long time.
I have most
of them. But now they're hitting stride because of the BBC show.
Yeah.
Like I just think that's funny.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting, and this guy like there definitely is that following of people who like those games. Like, well, me, I guess, which I actually haven't played. I've only played 2 of their other Sherlock games. One of them I actually just got flat out stuck, and I never went back to it because I didn't want to look it up, and then I kind of lost interest. But I mean, been wanting to go through them. But yeah, same company's been making the same ones. I believe it's the same company for a while.
Have you ever played a Phoenix Wright game?
No, but I'd like to. Those look pretty fun.
Those are great.
Objection.
I love those. Objection.
Yeah, those look fun. Those definitely like my type of thing. But my thing with Sherlock or the Crimes and Punishment, it feels a little too handholdy. It feels like the clues are like it's like, oh, okay, look on this table for clues, and then you like move the mouse cursor around until it lights up, and it's like, oh, this is a clue. I
don't mean this pejoratively. I think they're meant for young adult audiences. Like I think they're.
I don't think this one is really meant for that. I don't think.
Is it anything dark about?
It's pretty gruesome. Really? Okay. The very first case is a guy speared to a wall.
That was just my
the last one was
perspective of them that I always assumed they were for kids.
The last one you do an autopsy.
See, just don't forget. Yeah. It's just K to A, right? I mean,
like that one was pretty gruesome too, because like the skin was all discolored and stuff. I was like, oh my god! I was like, that's awesome. I mean, totally gross. But I mean, I feel like they kind of went too much for people are struggling too much with the clues. So a lot of times the clues are super easy to find. The only part where I really felt like, now I really feel like Sherlock Holmes is like you kind of collect these clues and you kind of put them together and say, well, let's see. I found this burning cigarette of this make at this place, and I know this guy smoked cigarettes. Therefore, there's a good chance he was there at the location. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you can say, okay, well, that means he was there and he's guilty, or he was there, but it was just coincidence. He didn't have anything to do with the murder, right? Whatever. Mm-hmm. And in the little board that you're putting these things together, like these different conclusions come up with. It's like, well, if this is A and this is B, then the murderer must be this person. But if this is C and this is B, then this other person must be the murderer. So you kind of have to take at the very end of the case.
Colonel Mustard was in the library
right, exactly.
with the candlestick. Yeah.
So you basically had to take everything, all the clues you've gotten, and then make kind of logical conclusions. Like, well, this makes the most sense, and put it all together. And then when you finally get the choice of the murderer, you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is the person that did it. And even then, you can usually confront them and be like, okay, this person was, in self-defense, or, the person who they killed they deserved it because they were a horrible abuser, or something like that. So you can kind of be like, look, I know you did it. Get the hell out of town and don't come back. Or you can be like, screw it. Tell Lestrade that this person's guilty. Here's the evidence. Go arrest them and, let justice sort itself out. So it's an interesting, moral type system. And it's kind of got the Walking Dead system where when you're finished with a case, it tells you, what other people did.
Oh, that's
so it tells
cool.
you, what percentage of other players.
I'm glad to see, other people adopt that stuff. I feel like sometimes people shy away from doing that stuff because, we don't want to rip them off. It's but it's such a clear evolution that's what should happen in those
Right.
kind of games. That it's like everybody do it.
Please
Like,
rip it off.
seriously, like seeing in a game that's all about choices, getting
Yeah.
feedback of analytics of other people's choices is super interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I like that.
I think it's like the more social gaming done correct.
Yeah. I think it's just it makes you feel, even though it's a single player game, it makes you feel like it's a little more connected.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of the whole share your conclusions on Facebook. No, that's all right.
I often wonder though, like what these games are going to be like in, like I'm playing like 30-year-old video games, like for retro games, whatever. And right now they're just simple cartridges, but like 30 years from now, you try to run this game and there's no servers or whatever. It's like 100% of the people said exactly what you said. Like,
Yeah.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that will be pretty interesting. But last game that I kind of played recently, again, not that far into, is Styx. It's a stealth game, which we've definitely need more of.
Like the river sticks?
Yes, exactly. I'm sure that's probably something to do with his name. But he's like a little goblin thief.
STYX?
STYX.
Okay, cool.
Or it could be the band Styx.
Oh, right.
It's a little bit of all three.
Okay.
But he steals stuff and then he rocks out. But he's more of an assassin than a thief. So it's fun, like running around, like murdering people brutally and then throwing their bodies in the closets and chests.
This sounds a little bit like the perfect game for you. This
Yeah,
is,
pretty much. It's kicking them off into ledges and watching
Yeah.
them like ragdoll down into the abyss. It never gets old, I don't think. It's the AI is not very good. We're still, to be fair, I haven't played the Splinter Cell series, but it feels like in AI we're still kind of at that stage where guards will like find a body brutally murdered and be like, "Oh no!" and start looking around, and like 30 seconds later, it's like, "Meh, whatever," and like go back on patrol.
Yeah.
It's like, can't we get past this? Shouldn't they be like, okay, now they've got their weapon out all the time. They're looking around constantly. Maybe they've split up. Let's get the AI there a little bit better. So the AI is a little abusable.
It's funny because it's one of those things that's less realistic, but I imagine that if it was realistic,
No, it'd be implayable.
you'd make it permanently difficult for yourself.
Yeah.
You make one mistake, and then everyone's on high alert. And
Yeah.
so it'd be way harder to sneak around.
Yeah, you couldn't really do a realistic stealth
Yeah.
game without basically being like, well, one guard's been tipped off and you didn't kill him. It's like, well, now the entire place is on high alert.
Yep, exactly.
And you better be really good at either combat or running away and just hide or whatever. Come back tomorrow.
I do like, in some ways, the original, or the Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation. There was scenes where you'd come into a new area and like the boss would be radioing to the people. And it's like, now, like, he's here. Like, stay on high alert or whatever. And you could tell, like, they're just like, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
he'll
and so
never come around.
You could kind of see it's like, that's why they're not on high alert, because they're just bad at their job.
Yeah. I mean, Batman was actually a little bit better about that if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, once you tipped the guards off, they didn't really go back to their old patterns. They were
Because
like
they were all,
constantly-
like, quarantined within a room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that makes that a lot easier and a lot less punishing.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a happy medium, and I feel like a lot of these stealth games are just kind of like, it's just always been that way. Let's just keep doing it that way.
Yeah.
Like, let's step it up on that end. But other than that, it feels good, like jumping around and holding on ledges and all that stuff feels really nice. And I like the stealth aspects. I just wish the guards were smarter. But and one key aspect of stealth games, which again, I'm a total stealth purist, so I consider it to be like maybe 5 true stealth games in existence.
Quick, name them.
Thief 1, Thief 2, Thief 3, and I actually can't think of the other two.
So you could have just said you're a big Thief fan.
Basically,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And again, to be fair, I haven't really played Splinter Cell a whole lot, but I think I'd probably like that. But it's one of those games where if you get caught, it's not like Dishonored, where it's like, well, I got caught, let me just murder these guys brutally.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. That's why I didn't. That's an aspect of Dishonored I didn't
Did you ever
like.
play the original Metal Gear Solid?
No. Oddly enough, I played Metal Gear Solid
Pretty
2 and
stealthy.
4.
I don't know.
I played 2 and 4.
Yeah. It's funny because I've played 1 and 2. I haven't played 3 and 4.
I don't remember much about them. I think that's more talking about my memory being god awful than anything. I remember the really bizarre story stuff in 2.
Oh, they're dumb. They're so dumb.
They're insane.
They're just like stupid anime. bullshit.
Yes.
Like,
No,
and
I do think.
I think
and
that's fun.
I want to talk about this game
All right.
in a minute, even though I haven't played it. Is PT?
Yeah, I played it.
Did
I
you?
can talk about that.
Okay, yes, you.
All
That's,
right,
I definitely
all right.
want to hear you talking about it because I want to talk.
I'm
about
glad
that.
you said that. I forgot about that.
I'm good. Yeah, I think that's.
I haven't
love
like
the concept.
cracked. I mean, like I played through it once, but I haven't like figured out every secret about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was I? Oh, sticks. Stealth games. The thing I like is that when you get in combat, one guard. Basically, if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, if you get caught and a guard gets in melee range, you're dead. Like literally, not like he hits you hard. It plays an animation and kills you instantly. So there is no getting out of it if you're in melee range. If you're further away, you can get away. But on the other difficulties, you have to you can't even attack normally. You have to parry their attacks, and then that knocks them off balance, and you can kill them. But it's not like a lot of games where, I'm doing my kill animation. You guys have to wait for me to finish it, and then you can attack. Nope, they can keep on attacking you while you're doing your kill animation.
Wow.
So you do not want to attack more than one guard 1-on-1. You're probably going to be fine. Mm-hmm. But once it starts to get 2 and 3, it's you got to bolt, which is how thief games or stealth games should be. That's how stealth should be. If you get caught, again, maybe one guard you could take out. Once it gets more than that, you need to use your tools to get the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that aspect, but I'm definitely gonna LP that actually at some point. But anyway, those are my games.
Awesome. Well, I've too have been playing video games this time.
How weird.
I feel like last time I was just
I like them still.
I've really been paying attention to the games lately. So yeah, first PT. I played that.
Yeah, PT. I've heard about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot. It's really kind of an interesting move by Konami. So, it's playable trailer.
Yeah,
and it's for Silent Hill, but really it's kind of like a tech demo. It's kind of an opportunity for them to be like, hey, what do you think of this weird thing we made?
Look how trippy this is.
Yeah.
Or just basically just say, look, Kojima, go have fun effing with people. And he's like, yeah.
Was it Kojima? Or,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a different director of
Del
Silent
Toro?
Hill. No, they
both are working on it together.
Oh. Who was the Silent Hill guy?
I don't remember.
So he's not on this.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be too many big names. I mean, you start you got Kojima and Del Toro already.
So Kojima's
Kojima's definitely
he's the Miyamoto of Konami. He does whatever he wants to over there.
Pretty
right?
much. I feel like he could just show up at the office naked and people are like, "Hey, what's up?"
He says the most inane crap on his
I love
Twitter.
his Twitter feed.
Yeah, it's great.
I love his
I mean,
Twitter
I
feed.
really feel like he could be your only just follow one person.
Well,
Follow
it helps
Hideo
that his
Kojima.
English is broken.
Oh yeah.
So when people
And
are giving
he's-
him crap about the whole the girl, what's her face, I'm like, the guy's English is not that great. You kind of have to read between the lines of what he meant. I mean, it's not terrible, but I mean, it's better than my Japanese. I mean, there you go. But but I mean, I don't. But yeah, he's a I love why. I'm a fan of his, but not because of his games. I've only played 2 of his games. So, but I'm I love Kojima.
I love Kojima, and I need to go back. I've started playing some of his obscure games like Snatcher on the Sega CD.
Did he do Snatcher?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It seems like I saw his name on another game, and I was like, "What? Kojima?
Yeah.
Where is this guy's everywhere? He's like Prince."
No, he did do another one. I can't remember what it is though.
I'm sure he's done. I say, he's like Prince, man. He's behind the scenes, doing this stuff.
He's been in the industry for quite a while, so he's got some old games he's worked on.
I wonder if Kevin Smith has a story about him and Kojima making a game together that never saw the light of day.
Probably. Kevin Smith lives on his stories these days. That's all he does is he tells stories.
Yeah.
So PT.
Yes.
So it's really cool. It's just this super tiny horror game experience. It's not even. I can't even really call it a game. It's an interactive horror tech demo.
Hey, wait a minute. If you called Gone Home a game, this is a game.
Okay, it's a game. Whatever. That's fine.
No, we're going to talk about this
right,
for the next
sure.
3 hours.
All right. PT's a game that you can download. It's free. And you walk down, you start out, and You just start out in a room, and it's really like slow and unsettling, and this door opens in front of you, and you walk in it, and there's a hallway that you walk down, and it's very specific shape. It's a L-shaped hallway. You walk down and you take a right, and then you go through a door, and that door you go down some stairs, and then you're in the exact same hallway again. And it's kind of disorienting. It's kind of got that, like, you know how there've been a lot of people that have talked about The Shining and how disorienting it is and how unsettling when something is spatially impossible.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of shots in The Shining that could not exist. And subconsciously, there's something super unsettling about that movie because you're looking at these 3D space that couldn't possibly exist.
Yeah.
And, you know, in this case, it's a lot more obvious because you're stuck in a loop, really.
Yeah.
You're going from hallway to hallway. But there are specific, like, visual sequences and audio sequences that happen when you walk down. So it kind of is like a song. Like, it gets stuck in your head. Like, you hear this radio report and you hear thunder outside and you hear these things, and it's the same sequence of events every time you walk through. So it feels like it just has this, not like you're stuck spatially, but you're stuck in this moment too. Yeah. And it's got a really cool vibe to it. And so every time through the hallway, you know, it might be something different where you come to the door that was open, it's not open.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and something appears in front of you, like, oh my God, like, it just totally, like, surprises you. But it's like, or sometimes, like, a door opens a crack and then you go near it and it closes. Or then you walk by and somebody's banging on the door. There's, like, a lot of old school, like, scare tricks, you know. But then there's some newer ones too. Like, I mean, there's one particularly gruesome scene where you go in and then one of the doors opens and you can actually go into this bathroom, and it's like, it's funny because I showed Sarah, and my wife is like super conscious about cleanliness and germs. And it's
God,
her greatest fear is like this dirty, like, gas station toilet, like, and you just open it up and she's like, oh my God, this game's awful. Like,
you should play it.
Yeah. And it's so and then there's this crying fetus covered in blood, and it's just, like, so gruesome too. It's just like, ugh. And it just does a lot of really cool stuff with its surroundings. I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, like, could you make a full game with this much attention to detail in every room? Like, that's probably not feasible.
No.
But it's really interesting to see kind of craftsmanship going into very limited space. And it's a very creative way to get the mileage out of a space too, because they just had to render this one hallway. And it's really good graphics too. Like, it looks
even
great.
from streams I watched, I was like, well, I need to just download the damn thing just to walk around it. But even watching streams, I'm like, God, this game looks incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this idea of this game experience, whatever, where it's almost impossible with any kind of realistic time frame for one person to find all or even maybe most of the hidden stuff.
Yeah.
And it's more of a collaborative, oh, I found out if you do this happens. But, oh, well, I was doing this and this other weird thing happened and people are trying to emulate it. And I think that's, like, cool as crap. Like, I thought that was really neat. And I think that's one cool way of using the internet. Because a lot of times it's like, oh, well, the internet kind of spoils all that stuff. But with this, it was more of a, let's work together and figure out, like, how this happened.
Well, it's kind of an amplification of the playground experience we had growing up, where we were playing Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo games, and you talk about, like, well, I heard this, if you enter this code in, this happens. And, you know, even before, like, you know, there was Nintendo Power and stuff, but, like, a lot of cheat codes were just, like, handed around on the playground. Like, before there was Cheat Code Central and the Cheat Code magazines, you know, there was this stuff. And I remember, like, people learning fatalities from Mortal Kombat and stuff. And so it's like, that stuff is happening now, but it's just through the internet and through other people that are super excited about it. And because, like, Fez went through a very similar thing too. There was so much hidden and weird about Fez that it took the internet to figure out Fez. Like, and a lot of the secrets, it took them weeks to figure it out. And it's like, there's so few games like that aren't like completely solved within 24 hours. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, PT's awesome. If you have a PS4, it's free. So just download it and try it. Turn off all the lights. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know, yeah, it's just I just love that they just really like were like, let's make this really weird and let's make this like these slight nuances, these little things change and these like you have to notice them and you have to do this and you kind of figure out what's going on and like I don't know, I just think it was really just something totally new but it was actually cool. But the only downside is I think they said that, well, this is cool and all, like the developers are like, well, this is cool and all, but don't expect the game to be quite like this.
No, like I said, I don't think that's scalable to a full game. Like,
I would like to see sections of the game like that, like you go to this hospital, but obviously with a demo or whatever it is, it's okay that you're stuck in the same hallway for an hour or whatever. But like in a game, like when this is just part of it, I think people will be less tolerant that I walked around, did some other stuff, but now I'm in this hallway for this hour. Like what the hell's going on?
Because it would be something you bought and you would perceive it as lazy.
And it feels like, I think it would also kind of break your pacing as well.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see if they can at least pull off parts of it in game.
I think they can figure out what things worked. And use them. Yeah,
I have no doubt that they probably looked at. I don't know if they were gathering data from people like playing it, but they probably watched.
They were. I mean, like
I'm sure they watched videos.
They'd be dumb not to. Like,
I bet they watched a lot of streams and videos of people playing to see like what people did, which is an awesome tool. Another awesome tool like developers can get to see, because they make a lot of assumptions about how people are going to play. But then when you see people playing, it's like, oh, I didn't think they would do that, or I didn't think they'd be interested in that. So I think that's another really cool, kind of completes the loop. It's like now they can see how people are playing it and kind of plan accordingly for the full game. So that sounds pretty cool. That might be the first Silent Hill game that I ever play.
You think it'll hit next year?
Probably not. It's Kojima.
Yeah, it's probably 2016. So, but Metal Gear, you think Metal Gear Solid will hit next year?
Yeah. I think they pretty much confirmed it, didn't they? Or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Surely, my God.
Next year's going to be pretty big, I think. I mean...
Yeah.
It's going to be a Final Fantasy. There's going to be a Metal Gear Solid. I mean,
Batman.
It's going to,
There's Witcher 3?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one, too. Yeah, it's going to be... This has been a crazy, 2 or 3 months. Though.
Yeah, it's funny. The second year is always better, but it just doesn't feel quite like full stride in a console until the third year.
Yeah.
There's always one or two good games the second year, but it's the third year where it's like, oh my gosh, this is what people have been working on since they got an SDK. So that's cool. I've also been playing The Last of Us on my PS4.
Did you play that on the PS3?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought
so
you
this
did.
is my first time playing Last of Us, and so I started this. I resurrected this old idea I had called Game Club. So a couple of my local buds. But I guess Johnny doesn't want to participate, are doing a game club where it's just pretty much just like a book club where we all play the same game and then we meet and discuss said game. So
I have tea and crumpets.
Exactly. Yeah. So there will be tea and there will be very civilized conversation about The Last of Us. So that's still in the works. But unfortunately,
I'm busy.
My PS4 died.
Did it?
Yep, completely kicked the bucket. Gave up the ghost.
Wow. Were you within your 1 year?
Yep, 1 month within 1 year. So
nice.
I get to send back my PS4 and get it replaced, or I don't know if they repair it, but
probably.
I don't know how. I couldn't find this being a commonplace problem, but I go to turn it on, and the blue light comes on, and then I hear a click, and then it shuts itself off. And it happened, the first time it happened 4 months ago. And then didn't happen for a while. And then it happened just increasingly more often until now I just cannot turn it on. So, the PS4's coffin will arrive this week. And I will have a ceremony and I'll package it up. And
so if you have a PS4 and it does that even once.
Yeah.
You better get
If you're within your warranty period, just it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
So send it back before. If you got to launch PS4 is doing that, send it back before your warranty expires. I've also been playing a lot of Vita games. I think last time we talked, I was playing Symphony of the Night, Castlevania.
Oh, yeah.
That game is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Did you beat it?
Yeah. Destroyed it. I got the bad ending, and then I kept playing, got the good ending. Because I don't know if you know, but that game is like 2 games, pretty much.
Oh,
you can play it, and there's a bad ending, but then you do a specific thing, and then the game, you basically can play through the whole game again in an upside-down castle.
Yeah.
Cool.
The upside down thing I've seen, yeah.
Yep. And, so I've just been, like, addicted to Castlevania games. I went back and I started playing Rondo of Blood.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is like, it came out for the PC Engine, like, CD-ROM. I mean, like, it didn't even come out in America, I don't think.
No, I don't think
so it was, like, the most limited release possible. But it was re-released on the PSP as Dracula X Chronicles. So it's got like updated graphics, but you can still play the original. And that game's hard.
Oh,
The game's so hard. Like it's not as hard as like the NES Castlevania, but it's pretty tough. Luckily, it's got like persistence. So like if you beat a stage, you don't have to like start over every time. You just work on that stage for a while. But every stage has a boss, and every boss is pretty tough. And even though the bosses have patterns to them that you can learn, they're still really, really tough. So I'm still playing that. I'm still playing Rogue Legacy, which...
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know you played that at all.
Man, that game's great. Yeah,
I tried it. I didn't like it. I don't like roguelikes.
Yeah, but this one is cool because
too much
it has persistence.
It has some level of persistence, yes.
It has a good level of persistence.
It has a pretty decent level of persistence.
It has a huge level of persistence. It's 100% persistent.
For a roguelike, I didn't hate it as much as I hate other roguelikes. Let's put it that way.
Right. So I've probably put like 50 hours into that game or something dumb. Because, the more you play it, the more gold you get. It's just got this amazingly fun feedback loop. Like, you play it, and if you have a good run, you have all this gold. And you're like, okay, well, let me just spend the gold on upgrades, and then I'll put it down. And then you spend the gold, and it's like, well, let me just run through again.
Yeah.
And then you get all this
with
gold.
all this new stuff that I can...
Yeah, exactly. And it's just one of those just one more games that just you keep playing. So I've beat 2 of the bosses, and there's 4 bosses. So I'm really bad at it, though. So it takes me a while. I know there's people that are just like amazingly good at these games, but luckily with Rogue Legacy, it's one of those games that you can overcome your lack of skills with persistence. Like I can just keep earning gold and upping my stats until I'm just so overpowered that it's not that hard.
Yeah.
So Rogue Legacy is my kind of roguelike because I can actually beat it.
I still haven't found a roguelike that I actually like.
Yeah.
They always start off
I feel like if you
okay.
don't like Rogue Legacy, then that's probably the most persistent and forgiving roguelike there is.
Yeah, I was like, it always happens. After about an hour or two of a roguelike, I'm like, all right, I feel like I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Like it happened with Binding of Isaac, happened with Rogue Legacy, happened with FTL.
Did you play Spelunky?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's free.
Yeah.
You should get it.
I probably won't like it. So what's the point?
You know what? You're probably right. I've been playing... Have you ever heard of a game called Ease? Or it's YS.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Never knew how to pronounce it, but yes.
That is how I thought it was pronounced, but I could be completely wrong. It could be called Wise. I don't know.
I always called it Wise in my head, but I was like, that can't be right.
I was just kind of curious about that series because there's been like 8 or 10 of those games. And so I was like, all right, well, what did this... And it was another PC Engine, like, super CD-ROM game that came out. It actually came out in the US, which also I downloaded both of these on the Virtual Console for the Wii. So the Virtual Console has Rondo of Blood, and it has Ease Books 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And if you want to play those games, you get a Wii and you get component out on a CRT, and it looks damn fine.
Does it?
Yes, because the Wii's Virtual Console actually outputs in the native resolution that these games put out. So there's no scaler.
Right.
So it's 240p directly to your CRT, and it's through component too. So there's no like it's not like composite or S-Video, and yeah, it looks really good, and the emulation's like really good. So I'd recommend that if you want to play these games. But I got Ys Chronicles for PSP, which I'm playing on the Vita, and that has books 1 and 2 also. And that game's hard too. I got to like the
is that like an
dungeon.
RPG, like a JRPG or what?
Yeah, so it's like it's an action RPG, kind of like Zelda, but rather than like you go out in the field and you press a button to hack a sword, you just run into enemies. And like you just go through it. And what's great about the PSP version of it is when you kill an enemy, they just explode into blood and guts. So you're just running around and running into these like squirrels and things, and just blood's going everywhere, and it's really satisfying. But it's funny because the encounters themselves, like in the dungeons, aren't that hard. You don't regen in the dungeons, but you regen in the overworld map. But the boss fights are really tough because you can't get hit that much, and there's just stuff going everywhere. So I'm stuck on the next to last dungeon at the boss fight, and I tried several times, and I'm capped too.
Oh, really?
So it's like I can't even grind and get better. It's like I have the best gear, and there's a level cap that stops like at level 10.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't really get it, but it was book 1 and there's book 2, and they were originally meant to be the same game, but then they shipped them separately in like 1988. The game's got a really weird history. And I think that's why I'm so interested in it, because I just like to go back and learn it. Because like another series I want to get into is Phantasy Star. Never played a single Phantasy Star game, and I just kind of want to like, they're Phantasy Star nuts out there. So
There were
Sega
games, right?
Yeah, those were Sega RPGs.
I had a friend who was into those.
And I have a Master System now too, so I've got no excuse. I mean,
You don't have an excuse.
yeah. I need to play these games.
Why play
Phantasy
Shadow
Star
of
1.
Mordor when you could be playing...
The original Phantasy Star.
Wow, yeah. Wow.
It's crazy. So yeah, like I've been getting into a lot of old consoles.
You're moving backwards.
I am, yeah.
You're going to be playing like the Pong consoles like
I got
next
an
week.
Intellivision. I got a ColecoVision. Yeah. I mean, they're awful. They're really...
Yeah.
This is part of me is just so like interested. The Intellivision is probably the worst.
Oh, is it?
I don't know though. I'd rather have an Intellivision than an Atari Jaguar
Because of the technical problems, or
because of the games, man.
the Jaguar had that Alien game. I think was okay.
Yeah, I think that's the only okay game.
I wanted a Jaguar so bad when I was a kid.
I got a Jaguar too.
Oh, you do have one?
Yeah, I got a Jaguar.
Does it work okay?
Yeah, works fine. Works perfect. I'll have to bring it over. We play some Jaguar games.
Play some Jag.
Yeah, I got a big stack of super shitty Jaguar games.
You should get a Virtual Boy so we can play and have headaches together.
Man, those are really like going up in value.
Really?
Yeah, like
I
you
guess they
can't
weren't
get a
very
Virtual Boy for there was not many at all. I feel like there was like 200,000 or something like that.
Yeah, because they made it like 1 year. Then they're like, this sucks.
They knew immediately it was a bomb. But I think they're 150, 175 is what they kind of go for. So I mean, that's not like outside the realm of possibility, but it's still,
Yeah, a little bit much for playing a shitty.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I want just shitty console just to own it.
So I feel like my console collection I'm finally getting to a point where I'm done. Like, I guess I don't have a CDI. I do have a 3DO.
3DO, Neo Geo, those are the ones to have.
Well, man, Neo Geo, I'll use like the arcade boards. I'll do MVS.
Yeah.
But AES, no way can I afford that. It's like $600 for an AES.
That's how much it was when we were kids.
Yeah. They've retained their value pretty well.
Technically, it's cheaper because
because inflation.
So we're crazy not to buy one.
Exactly. But and then each game is about $200.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Never mind. Emulation's fine.
Yeah. Well, I like my MVS arcade board with the 161 in one cart. I'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and I've also been, I recently got a 4 terabyte internal hard drive. So I've been going nuts with archiving all my ROMs and ISOs, and I've just got them all locally saved and uncompressed. And I have close to 1.5 terabytes of games, of just like classic games. So, yeah, I'm going kind of nuts with the whole like historical side of things. But I'm beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I'm beginning to not be as obsessed with these things. So,
and knowing that you'll never play without your entire life 98% of those games again. Again, you've never played them, but
right. Wait, you mean like besides the one time when I just go through and try them out? Or?
Right.
Yeah. Probably not.
But there might be some point where you're like
the percentage of games that are actually good that come out.
Maybe like you'll get like 70 years old, you hit the lottery or something, and then you'll be like, I can't really go out and do much. I'm going to sit back, grab this ridiculous collection, and play it for the next 30 years of my life.
Yeah, I'd like that.
That'd be pretty nice.
And then I'll have something to live for.
Yeah,
it's like I gotta play the next game. Like,
well, so just one more game.
You know how I always have crazy ideas. This is my next crazy idea. For 2015, play through all 15 Final Fantasies.
That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy, right? Do you think it can be done?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do it?
Do you think I will do it?
No.
No? Not a chance?
No. I mean, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but it's not going to happen.
I just have all these ideas of stuff I want to do, and then I never do it.
I think we need to start narrowing down your ideas.
Okay. Too big?
Not too big, but so that you have less of them. Because, like, if you're going to have grand ideas, you probably should only have, like, 1 or 2 grand ideas.
Yeah.
And then, like, but if you have, like, a bunch of smaller goals, like, I want to play one game on every well, no, that's not going to work. It's a lot of games. I want to play 3 Final Fantasies a year until I'm caught up. That's a pretty moderate goal. I mean, they're still long games, but that's not bad in a year. But every single one in a year, it's like, okay, well, that's one goal we need to focus on and knock it out. Boom, do it.
Okay, so if I focus on it, that's my only goal.
Not saying to make it your only goal, because if you made it your only goal, you could do it without question and still have time left over.
Yeah.
But you just got to be...
You have time left over for Type 0 and X2 and 13.2 and...
I would think you would need to play... Well, yeah. Because then you got to ask about, well, do you play Final Fantasy Tactics? And I think... No. If we just ignore those, it's the base
Final Fantasies with numbers.
It's just numbers.
Yeah. But that includes Type 0 and X2.
Well, I mean, just
the base numbers.
The base numbers.
Okay, yeah. How long do you play 11 and 14? Those are online ones.
I wouldn't really count those. I mean, they're MMOs in the Final Fantasy world.
Yeah.
I think you could skip those.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that,
I
think
would
be allowed.
I think you're all right. I mean, 11 would suck. 11 would suck.
Unless, man, 11's awesome.
But how long would it take to get you one character to max level?
These days, it's not that bad.
It's not?
They've added all sorts of, like, leveling bonuses and stuff that you could do it.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Back in the day, forget it.
Okay, then, yeah. I would say that's up in the air, but I don't think they really count because the story...
Well, you can see how long it takes you to get to 10.
When people debate their favorite Final Fantasy, those two never, ever, ever enter the conversation. Not to say that they're bad, but they're not what you consider...
They're not considered a Final Fantasy game.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like when you could talk about Dungeon Keeper games, you don't talk about that abortion that EA just spat out a few months ago.
Yeah. We've all tried to forget about that, but thanks for reminding us.
Have
you ever played a Final Fantasy game?
I beat Final Fantasy 6.
3 on the SNES.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that one.
So you played the best one. That's good.
Yeah, pretty much. I played 7 a little bit, like 2 or 3 hours.
That was the first Final Fantasy I played.
I had a friend who played the hell out of it. Like,
Yeah.
every time I went over, he was always playing it. But I was like, oh, that looks really good. Those graphics are insane. Look at all those discs.
I just remember it's like, please insert disc 2. It's like, oh my gosh. I'm making progress.
I know. But yeah, you should do that because I wanted to do, like, once I'm, being a YouTuber for life, like, that's my job. I wanted to actually do that because there's so many, like, old games that I feel like I missed on.
Yeah.
Like the Final Fantasy series. I don't know if I'd do all of them. I'd probably skip the first 5 or so and kind of start at 6.
I don't know, like 2, 3, and 5 are really good.
Are they?
Yeah. I mean, I've played all of them. I haven't finished all of them.
Yeah. And also, you run into the problem, and this is another reason why, if you were going to, like, legit do it, you'd probably want to, like, plan around this, is that you'd probably start to get sick of it.
Yeah.
Because after, like, 4 or 5 Final Fantasies in a row, you're going to be like, oh my god. Because you're already going to be kind of pressed for time.
Yep.
So what little time you had to play games will be playing Final Fantasy. So I think you run into that problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's kind of, yeah. Or that I could just play through 4. There's Phantasy Star I want to play through. I want to play through Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I do want to go through all the Metal Gear Solids.
Now that would definitely, that would be way shorter because, like, each Final Fantasy you're looking at is probably about 50 or 60 hours. Mm-hmm. But each Metal Gear Solid is probably like 15, 20. And there's only 4 of them. So.
Yeah. Well, about to be 5.5.
Yeah.
If you include.
But I guess, yeah, the 5th Metal Gear Solid will come out next year, and then the 15th Final Fantasy game will come out next year.
Wow.
So I guess what we're saying is we need to play through all the Metal Gear Solids and all the Final Fantasies next year. You just, when you're sick of Final Fantasy, then you break
switch
out
to
the
Metal
Gear
Gear.
Solid.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear?
Otacon. Huh?
Bring! So that's pretty much what I've been playing. I'm trying to think. I've been logging in to download my PS Plus games. So I got like Spelunky and Dust.
God, I keep forgetting to. I haven't done that in like 3 months.
Arkham Asylum is on the PS3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm one of the weirdos that liked Asylum better than City.
You are a weirdo.
Yeah.
Because that's just objectively wrong. Because it just objectively wasn't as good. I mean, it's still damn good.
That's the thing. They're both great. I just like. It's admittedly probably just me. But,
it is.
Like,
I
had more fun with Asylum
every single
than
human
City.
Who's played both, and every single human except you has said City was better.
I just couldn't get past the weirdness of being in a open world, do whatever you want while there's a story going on. So it's like, Batman, you've got to get to this place. And it's like, well, let me go beat up these villains in this corner. Like, there's a payphone. Let me answer it. Like, I'm going to play around.
Yeah, because God knows you've never really been into a game that was super open world with a one major overarching story that you completely ignored while you ran around doing random stuff. In my defense,
I have a problem with all of those games.
Called
like
Skyrim.
any of them.
Elder Scrolls.
Oh, busted.
So would you say Arkham City is better than Skyrim?
No, I would say the Skyrim is better than Arkham City. But I see your point.
There needs to be a mod for Skyrim. Not where the model is just Batman, but you are Batman. Like the combat's like from Batman, and like you for the right click to block. And
have you seen the Kenny Loggins mod?
No.
So whenever a combat like happens, instead of like the normal combat music, it's just Highway to the Danger Zone.
Oh my
god! It works so well, like because it's just like this giant shows up and like dun, 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 dun.
Mud crab.
Oh, man, yes, yeah. Seriously, like I could see myself using that mod for like hours and hours.
That's like I did with the Macho Man Randy Savage Dragon mod.
Yeah.
God, I love that mod so much.
That was a good mod. You know what? Somewhere, somebody is working on the next Fallout or Elder Scrolls.
Fallout, not
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, now that Elder Scrolls is pretty much bombed horrifically, at least as far as I can tell.
Wait,
Elder Scrolls
what?
Online.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was about to say, Skyrim is, like,
Oh, yeah, no.
brought the Elder Scrolls series to so much mainstream. Like,
Oh, God, yeah.
Elder Scrolls has never been that accepted in the mainstream.
Yeah, I definitely mean online.
And I think most of the mainstream doesn't even know about Elder Scrolls Online. Like,
No.
when the next Skyrim comes out, and I don't know if they're going to call it the next Skyrim game, but people
not.
are going to call it the next Skyrim game.
Skyrim 2.
Yeah. People are going to be like, oh, it's another Skyrim game. Like,
I kept calling Elder Scrolls Online Skyrim Online. Like, I still do that. Like, I'm still getting where I'm at, like, 60-40, where I say the wrong, where they say the wrong one 40% of the time. But, like, yeah, like, that bombed pretty bad. So if it did, like, mediocre, I would say you're not looking at a new Skyrim or Elder Scrolls game
yeah.
for like 5-6 years. But
Yeah,
now,
plus they've historically leapfrogged Fallout and Elder Scrolls.
right?
So
I think we'll see a new Fallout.
Fallout 4, PS4, come on, it's too good.
Prediction time: Fallout 4. When's it coming out?
2016.
What year is this? 14.
Yeah, Christmas 2016, like November 2016. November 7th, 2016.
It's been a long time since they've made any DLC or anything for it, haven't they?
Yeah. I'm saying, but somewhere Bethesda is hard at work on something. I wonder, they announced Skyrim like 2 years before it came out. I wonder if they
Did they?
want to wait longer before they announce it.
It feels like Fallout's 3 announcement was longer than that, but that's probably because I'm a huge Fallout fan, so it
Yeah.
felt like an eternity.
I think they're trying to avoid the huge window between announcement and... But actually now I'm pretty sure it's Fallout 4 because I heard people talking about them modeling it after Boston. That's where it's supposed
I
to be
think
set.
that whole thing fell through, didn't it?
Oh, really?
I think. I could be wrong, but I thought there was like I thought that whole rumor
What's going to come out first?
Fallout. Definitely.
Well, I
Because
was
of
gonna say
Skyrim Online.
Fallout 4 or Half-Life 3.
Oh, Fallout 4.
Yeah.
We're going to be like I made a joke on Twitter the other day. I was like, I'm going to be on my deathbed and they're going to be like, your family's going to be taken care of. We're going to make sure that all your needs are met. And by the way, Half-Life 3 came out today. Rest in peace. Like, well, damn you, Gabe Newell! You piece of shit.
Well, if that's true, then I need to like poison you or something. So as soon as you die, Half-Life 3 will come out.
You have to sacrifice. Take one for the team.
Well, it's
That
like,
game's never going to see the damn light of day.
remember when there was finally a Diablo 3 release date?
Oh,
I walked over to your cube and I was like, it's going to be all right. It's fine.
Well, it's funny because we actually met each other because I was walking over to your
Yes.
cube. You were walking over to my cube. And we didn't say a word. We just hugged.
Totally. Yeah.
That
It
was
just like,
awesome.
it's going to be all right.
That was the greatest spontaneous
Yes.
thing ever.
Yep. Sometimes you just got to hug over Diablo.
What was funny is that we didn't even say anything.
No, there was no
We just, like,
words
looked.
spoken.
We were just like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
And then it was disappointing, and then it
Yep.
was good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was totally disappointing, and then it was really good.
I want to try it for the PS4.
I've heard it's good on the PS4.
Yeah.
I don't really...
Like, I want to play, like, same screen co-op
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting.
Couch co-op is pretty cool for stuff like that. I liked it for the Marvel series, like it was first the X-Men Legends.
Yeah, the Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah,
or-
that game was cool
yeah.
as hell.
That was good.
I see more people that I can play that with. Because, like, the only person that's close by, my friend Donnie lives, like, 2 miles from here, but his schedule is completely bonkers to mine.
So now we're just skipping around, but
Yes, we are.
that made me think of something specific. Marvel games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now that Disney owns Marvel, I feel like the future of Marvel games is kind of weird. Like, I know we just got that Disney Infinity Marvel game. It's got all the Marvel characters, at least the ones that are in the Avengers movies. Like, there's never... we're not going to see any X-Men for Disney Infinity Marvel, I'm willing to bet. because
Is that a licensing thing?
well, the interesting thing is that Fox owns the rights to Spider-Man and X-Men movies, but presumably Disney owns the characters themselves because they own Marvel.
Right, yeah.
So I just don't know if they don't want to put out those characters because they don't want to like help them out. Like, I don't know. The weird thing is that they have to make Spider-Man movies and they have to make X-Men movies or they lose the contract.
Do they?
Every 3 years there will be a Spider-Man movie and every 3 years there will be an X-Men movie or else they will lose the ability to do that. So that's why like there's another Spider-Man reboot. That's why they did all that crap. Because it's like they had to. But like it's interesting when there's those Marvel versus Capcom games that were online and they pulled them. Like you can't buy them on any digital marketplace or anything. So it's like there's so much potential for like stuff like Marvel Ultimate Alliance or Marvel vs. Capcom 4. If that
did they ever
happens.
Did they ever say exactly why that happened? Why they pulled those games?
No, it's like why would you just turn down money? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Saw some lawyer bullshit. Who knows?
Yeah.
But there's some interesting combos. I don't really give two shits about Disney, but I know. Wait a minute, no. Wait, who? Disney owns Pixar, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Disney
give a shit about
Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel.
Oh, I forgot they had Star Wars.
They're gonna buy Nintendo.
I don't give a shit about Pixar either, but the Marvel and Star Wars, that seems like some interesting possible combos.
Well, next year's gonna be Disney Infinity Star Wars because the Star Wars movie comes out next year.
Does it?
Yep.
I mean, again, I'm not really a Star Wars person. I'm sure Mark will be number one in line camping out like 3 days ahead of time.
I have a feeling that it's gonna be not terrible.
Is it J.J. Abrams doing it? Yeah. I would say I like his other movies, but now thinking about it, the only movie I saw of his was the Godzilla one.
Oh, Cloverfield?
Yeah,
I feel like that's one of his. I don't know, that one didn't do much for me. I feel like Super 8 and Star Trek were good.
Yeah, I haven't seen those.
You should see them.
I should.
So do we have any news we want to discuss? I feel like right now everybody's just like in the thick of releases. Like it's that magical time of the year after Madden comes out and it's just new games every week.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Yeah. Well, hopefully good ones coming out. Bayonetta 2.
Yep. I'm
super stoked for that.
I'm planning on getting a Wii U hopefully this week, maybe next week.
Oh wow, that soon.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to get it for.
Well, I'm gonna get Super Mario 3D Land, 3D World with it.
Oh, and you're getting into the Smash thing.
And I'm gonna get Smash Brothers, yeah. And I also want to go back and play Pikmin 3, Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors. I was gonna pick up on release. I just haven't kind of got around to it because I've got so much other crap to play.
Yeah,
but I definitely want to play it. It looks pretty neat. And
Zombie U.
I've heard the Zombie U, like that seems like a pretty interesting game. I heard kind of mixed reviews on it, but it seemed like overly, like mostly positive, like middling with positive bent, I guess. And I watched Roboz do a full play. Well, no, I don't think he played the whole thing, but he played a lot of it. It looked pretty neat. The whole idea of yes, I realize this is roguelike sort of, but like of just playing a character, and when your character dies, like that character dies and you're playing a new person, like, it could be totally different person. I think that's pretty cool, even though I don't know how much that was actually played up.
That's a roguelike.
Yeah, but
You're describing a roguelike.
Yeah, but then you just go back and get your pack and get all your stuff.
Oh, so I see, yeah. You can do a corpse run or loot your corpse. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like everything's now randomly generated and you have to go through it all again. It's like, I wonder if areas stayed cleared of zombies. Well, no, because you don't retract the whole thing. I don't know. But
so I was thinking the other day, why hasn't there been a Castlevania roguelike?
Because they don't hate their fans, I guess? Because they want to make good games?
I feel like that series would be awesome for roguelike.
How?
You have to go into a castle. And I mean, if it always changes... That would be pretty interesting.
So basically, Rogue Legacy then.
Yeah, but Castlevania Rogue Legacy. That's what I want.
Why don't he just like put a DLC that adds a whip and then you're good?
Because it's not Castlevania. I want the Castlevania music. I want the aesthetic.
You can mod it or something. You could kind of feel like you're doing it. I don't know.
All right. That's what I want, damn it.
Well, I'm sure it'll happen.
Probably not.
Exactly. Beyond Earth?
What was Beyond Earth?
The Sid Meier's game?
Ah, okay.
That's this month, I think.
That really? That's crazy.
Yeah. That is going to be a time annihilator, most likely.
Is that going to be like as... Does that have as much time and effort put into it as like Civ 5? Or is that more of a like Civ Revolution level?
I got the feeling that it was. I feel like it's going to be... I mean, no, I know Northern Lion did a video on it. He says it does feel like... It feels like if you like Civ, you'll like this game. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like it's... Like he has to learn all new mechanics.
Yeah.
So... I guess in that case, it's like iterative and it's very similar. But, I mean, I don't know. It's a new Civ game.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's Who crazy. Cares? Just buy the damn thing and shut your mouth.
Well, it's like there's all these games and all these games that I want to play and just thinking of all the time it'll take up. And then you throw a Civ game in there and it's like...
Yeah, that's not fair. That's
what?
Like
that's not fair. I want to play Alien Isolation. I mean, I know it has length issues, I've heard. Like, it has pacing issues.
Oh, really?
It's a 20-hour game that should be a 10-hour game. It's just like it's really awesome, and then it just keeps going on. So I don't know. It seems really cool. It's definitely worth playing.
Oh, we forgot the biggest release. Rise for the PC is coming out tomorrow.
Oh yes.
I know Finally. A lot of people have been chomping at the. Nobody cares.
Just the.
Nobody gives two
shits. Amounts of people have been waiting to play that game.
You know,
that's like
I still want to play it because I still want it to be
on
good.
The PC.
Oh,
and I liked Knack, but no one gives a shit about Knack.
Yeah, Rise. Yeah, I think they were just kind of like, "Hey, Rise is on PC because we really, really, really need to recoup, development costs."
Yeah, I just can't. How many people are going to buy that? I feel like it would like 30 people would buy that game.
Yeah, I mean, part of me still wants to play it because I want it to be good. It's like one of those situations where, like, yeah, I'm going to play it and I'm going to have fun. But, like, then I know I'll probably be like, why did I buy this?
Just think about how cheap Rise will be at GameStop in, like, 4 years. Like, really, by the way, public service announcement. If you want to collect or keep any, like, 360 or PS3 games, like, before this, like, generation is definitely done, now's the time to go to GameStop and get them. Like,
oh yeah,
Uncharted 2, I got that for $4.
Oh wow.
Like Gears of War, I got that for $3. Like, there's just a ton of games that sold a bunch. Like Mass Effect 2, you can get for like $4. Like, these games that sold a ton, but like are really great games. Yeah. If you missed out on them, just go look at your bargain bin at GameStop, because when you're like 2 years into a new console, the price on the last generation console just drops. And then before the supply is gone, just stock up. So that's my public service announcement.
I think that's good advice overall. Yeah, Rise, who cares?
Yeah.
Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Chris is super excited about this.
Yeah, I know he loves
Borderlands fan.
Yeah, he's really big. And he even likes Borderlands Solo, which,
So Aaron was thinking about getting a PS4. And Chris was trying to talk him out of it so he could play Borderlands instead of to play Borderlands on the 360. He's like, you don't need a new console. Get Borderlands. And I was like, man, it's way more fun to talk somebody into new console than a different game.
Oh, you mean like for himself personally?
Like for Aaron to get Borderlands instead of buying a PS4. But I was like, you need to get a PS4 so you can play Assassin's Creed, because he loved AC4.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know he played it.
He's like practically singing shanties at work. Shanties. Yeah.
So you going to get Borderlands?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I want to play it, but like I also want to play Borderlands 2. Like I never played that.
Oh, did you not?
No. I got to like level 14 and then I had a ranged character that had a boss fight where I had to be close range.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
That just killed it for me. I was like, I don't feel like starting over.
Yeah, because like my first playthrough was almost entirely like 2 to 3 player co-op.
Yeah.
Sometimes with their child screaming in the background, which is awesome, by the way. Folks, again, another PSA. If you've got a kid screaming in the background, like either mute yourself all the time or do something with that kid. Get a soundproof room. Nobody wants to hear that. We know that you're immune to the child screaming, like, and you don't notice it. Everyone else wants to stab you in the eyes. So please, for God's sake.
And it's like, if your kid's up and screaming, I feel like maybe you should do something with that kid. Like, put the kids in bed and then play video games.
Kids just do that, though. Like, they just sit there and scream and wet themselves. But Evil Within is next week.
Do you think this is going to be good? I can't tell.
This is another game I didn't really keep up with until like recently, and I've watched some gameplay videos and it looks interesting. I probably won't get it.
Yeah, I just can't get a gauge on if it's fun.
Yeah, and it's more like the horror type game, which I totally appreciate, but I don't really play them that much because I don't really get all that scared and like into it. I like watching other people play them, but for me, I'm just like, all right.
You know what I'm looking forward to? The Resident Evil remake.
What? They're remaking it?
You didn't hear about that? So the original Resident Evil came out with PlayStation. Was remade for GameCube.
Right.
They're remaking it for PS4 or Xbox One.
Oh, I think I did hear about that.
Yep.
And
that is stupid, and I'm getting it.
Well, you should feel bad.
Yeah.
Legend of Korra is the next to last week. I hate the graphical style, honestly, and I realized they're doing it after the Avatar show. So I totally respect that they wanted to keep it with the show. I don't
know what this is.
It's by Platinum Games, same who do Bayonetta, and they also did Metal Gear Revengeance. Mm-hmm. But it's a combat game like that, but it's supposed to look like the Avatar show, which I've never watched and don't really ever care to. But I'm iffy.
Can I get 1,000 gamer points for this with Gamerscore? This Avatar game is the...
It's digital only, which is interesting. Okay. It feels kind of like they were like, you know what? Let's make a Legend of Korra game. Let's put it out next year. All right. But I mean, I didn't get the impression from interviews, like, because they kind of addressed that in interviews about kind of it being like, let's just do this and throw it out and whatever. But they did seem like they actually did put a lot of effort into it. But I might get it. I like Platinum Games. If it turns out to be amazing, I'll pick it up. But the problem is, later that same week, Bayonetta 2 and Beyond Earth are coming out on the same day before Extra Life.
And they're both coming out on a Friday?
Yep. I
wonder if they had something to do with Extra Life. I feel like it would be a good time to come out
Probably
with games.
Not.
Really?
No.
So then why Friday?
I don't think Extra Life is that big. Well, Bayonetta 2 because it's Japan. Yeah. Beyond Earth because Sid Meier's, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if does Sid Meier's even have anything to do with that company anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, he does. At least he did for Civ 5. I don't know about Beyond Earth.
If he does, then he's probably, I'd imagine Beyond Earth was probably his thing too. But yeah, that's pretty much this month. That's the ones I cared about anyway that I noted.
And there was a date announced for Smash Brothers Wii U, but I forget what it is.
I'm not really into Smash, but since it has online, I might take it out. But then again, it's Nintendo online, so...
Yeah. Well, I'll just email you my 16-digit friend code and then my RSA token, and then you can press the button and concatenate them and then fart out whatever. I don't know. It's so dumb. So one thing I was thinking about doing was I have an Elgato now, the capture device, and I was thinking about recording my entire Wii U out-of-box experience. Like, all the painful, setups and, patches and how long it takes just to see what it's like to actually
and then
play it.
Figure out what your Nintendo club is versus your club
minutia,
Nintendo.
Just to illustrate how painful it is.
They are clueless on the internet stuff. Oh, make sure when you do that to film you copying your games from your Wii to your Wii U. Have fun. Like your virtual console games.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, download an app, put an SD card in, copy the games over. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't even know if I'll attempt that. That sounds crazy.
It's idiotic. But yeah, that's every single game
Yeah.
that matters this year.
I don't know. It's pretty good holidays. I feel like a few months ago I was like, it's not gonna be that big. Like I feel like the second year of the console, I was kind of disappointed. But and then Assassin's Creed comes out too.
Oh, does that this
Yeah.
year? Only reason I don't keep up with that is because I want to catch up, and I did buy Assassin's Creed 4. But the main reason was because I bought a PlayStation 4 and I didn't have anything else to buy. Well, I bought a few other things. But anyway,
You want to know how you can catch up quick on that series?
Wiki?
You go to Wikipedia, and
I
then you
wanna play
read
through
the
them.
plot of every game, and then you play the games.
I just want to play through them. Not even the sub games. Like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, first of all, please, for your sanity, skip 1.
Really?
Yes, read about it.
I've
You will.
heard to play it until it starts to get monotonous. And
You
then
can do
stop.
that. That's what I did.
Because I heard, there's like a
But
lot of repetitive.
You'll probably play it, and then 4 or 5 hours in, you'll realize, oh, this is dumb. I'm doing all the same things. And then you go to Wikipedia, or you could just read Wikipedia. 2's good. You just play 2 and 4.
Was 3 not good?
No, it wasn't that great.
4, though, like what little I played of it did seem pretty sweet.
I played a ton of 4.
4 was definitely one of those games where when they're like letting go of the reins, like I was like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's like
The last time I had the closest feeling I've had to that with another game was World of Warcraft. Like when I started, I was just like, looked at, I can do all this crap. Like I usually don't get that in like a single player game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was totally like, this is insane. And I didn't even come close to 100%ing that game.
oh really?
Yeah. No, but I probably put in 50 hours. I mean,
Oh nice.
maybe not 40. I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely getting Assassin's Creed
What's that
Unity or whatever.
Unity. I can't hear the word
Yeah.
Unity without that.
It's funny because they're so shy from having numbered releases, but then 3 wasn't that great. 3 wasn't even put out by the A team. Like, that's an annualized game, and then they have the A team working on.
Well, it's like more than that now because
I think they have 3 studios working on it.
because they don't have like the mobile version now too. There was like
Yeah.
some mobile Assassin's Creed that's either out or coming out.
And then there's the last gen Assassin's Creeds, which are different than the new gen. Yeah.
Was Black Flag like technically 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Okay, I couldn't because I always hear it referenced as Black Flag, but I couldn't remember if they actually.
But this next one is just going to be called Assassin's Creed Unity. Which is kind of weird.
I wish they would just keep
It's
the
like-
numbers.
Yeah.
I know that people.
It's like
are-
Rambo. It's
Yeah,
like the most
it's-
inconsistent.
Keep the damn numbers. Like
Yeah.
Mega Man did it for 10. Well, 8 sequels. You can handle it.
Yeah. Wait. I mean, there was Mega Man.
There was
1 through
9 and 10, but that was
Yeah.
like a rebirth or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job with them, though.
I
feel
heard.
like. And then there was X1, X2, X3. of
Right.
course.
I mean, they were consistent. It was like X1, X2, X3, X4, X Robot, or next one Maverick Hunters, or whatever. They actually kept names for a while, and then they just made a bunch of supposedly horrifically bad Mega Man games.
And now they're making Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
lots
well,
of games.
yeah.
So wrapping up, I want to talk about a specific topic near and dear to my heart. Well, something we're both going to be doing in 2 weeks.
An Extra Life Marathon.
Yes, 24 hours straight.
Only 24 this year.
Yeah, last year was 25 hours because of daylight savings time, and that last hour was pretty brutal.
Because you kept thinking, I
could
should be
feel
done
it.
right now.
Yep. It's just mental. I was just dead. It was brutal.
You know what's funny happens a lot of times when I do, well, a lot of times I've done it like 3 or 4 times, but like at least once or twice I've been so tired and then I finished and then didn't go to bed for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me?
It's like your brain is so stimulated that it's like, I just need to chill for an hour before I can actually fall asleep.
Yeah.
No, that happens to me every year. So do you have any games that you're planning on playing?
If I get an Elgato, a capture card, I've actually considered, because Bayonetta 2 actually comes with both Bayonettas, it comes with 1 and 2.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. And they've added new costumes. They've added Nintendo costumes. So she has like a Samus
awesome.
costume and a Link costume, a Star Fox. But I've actually considered playing through both games and then maybe just other random stuff, which is what I
Yeah.
usually end up doing. What usually ends up happening is the day or two beforehand, I'll just like go through my Steam library and download random games,
Yeah.
and then I'll just play whatever I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like later on, I'll tend to play more actiony games to kind of wake my brain up. So if I get an Elgato, I almost certainly will go through both games. Other than that,
You should get one. They're awesome.
yeah.
I mean, you could get the new one. I had the old one because it handles the old
The
consoles.
new one's pretty expensive though.
How much is it?
It's like $250.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
I mean, you can get the old one now for like $140, I think.
yeah. That's why I'm thinking I might just get that one.
Because I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of games don't even output 60 frames a second. So
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that might go that route.
and you can. I mean, if you want to like try mine out to see what it looks like, you can do that too. You can bring it over and we could hook it up to the Wii.
I considered also maybe trying to do like challenges, like do XCOM on Impossible Iron Man or something.
Oh man,
That could be.
that's brutal. That's awesome. So
I'm not even that
gonna
good
be
at
on-
XCOM.
You're
so-
going to be on Twitch all day, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And you should. I'll be on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/TravisDOJ. Everything's TravisDOJ now.
Even your Twitter?
TravisDOJ.com. I'm at TravisDOJ. Twitch.tv.
I'm thirsty. You should have some
TravisDOJ.
Travis DOJ.
Yeah. That's right.
But so, what are you doing for Extra Life?
So, in keeping up with my tradition of doing the dumbest thing I can think of, I'm actually going to be playing on 24 consoles in 24 hours. Can you believe that?
That's going to be.
That's
interesting.
crazy. Yeah. So, on the hour, every hour, I'm going to be changing consoles, and I'll be playing from the Atari 2600, which came out in 1977, all the way to the Xbox One, which came out in 2013. So, I'll be playing them in their chronological order of release.
Were you originally going to do the PS4 as well, but then yours bricked, or?
No, I'm going to do the PS4 also,
Okay.
but the PS4 came out a week before the Xbox One.
Oh, that's true.
It's number 23.
I gotcha.
So, I need to either find a PS4 to borrow if mine doesn't come back in time,
I have. I probably won't be using it.
and I might need to also borrow somebody's Xbox One. So, I don't know. I might have to put a credit card deposit down at Johnny's game rental store.
That's an idea.
Yeah. So, but all the other consoles I have covered. I'm going to see if I can remember them all. Okay. Atari 2600, Intellivision, ColecoVision, the NES, Sega Master System, TurboGrafx 16, Sega Genesis, Neo Geo, Super Nintendo, Jaguar, 3DO, Saturn, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, Wii U, PS4, and Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So that's 24 consoles.
You memorized that list for like hours before you came on the podcast.
Yeah, like
know
I
you did.
if I wasn't able to memorize it, I was just gonna cancel recording tonight. There's no sense. But those are the consoles I'm gonna be playing. If you want to know what games I'm gonna be playing, you're just gonna have to tune in, and you're gonna have to donate too. Because if you don't donate, that means you like when kids are sick and miserable.
That
and
makes
you're
you
an
a
awful
sick person.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty hyped for it this year.
Yeah.
Last year it kind of snuck up on me, but this year, like I even put in a week off after Extra Life
Nice.
to kind of like one get my time back in order, and two just take a week off work. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped for it this year. I'm pretty excited. There's tons of stuff to play.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's tons of stuff to play, so I'm going back and playing nothing but old stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's the way
Makes a lot of sense.
That's why I actually might use that time to kind of finish games I might not have normally finished.
Yeah.
Because I tend to only play games that I can let's play. because, well, that's what I do. I don't really play games like Tropico much because it's hard to make that interesting over a long period of time. So I might, pick up a good time to do Tropico and some other games that people will actually come in my stream and watch me play, like Minecraft. I'm like, why are you people watching? That was like one of my highest number. It wasn't that high. It was like 20 or 30 people.
Yeah.
But like I had like 30 people, and I'm like, I'm digging. I'm not doing anything creative. I'm literally just in the ground digging diamonds.
People love Minecraft. Did you see that it's still like it's number 2, but it's right behind Destiny for the PS4?
That's insane.
Yeah. And I mean, this is like an old game, which means a lot of people already have it on another system. Like on a new system that not many people own relatively to install base, and it's like right behind Destiny.
We're like the one gaming podcast, by the way, that doesn't talk about Destiny. My God, that has been nonstop.
It's funny because there's a lot of people that have like, oh, Destiny's not that great or whatever, but they will go on about it.
It seems like apparently a mediocre game that's very addictive.
Yeah.
It's like being addicted to Vienna sausages. And I do love Vienna sausages.
That's pretty brutal, man.
I love those things. My God. And they're so like when you eat a single one, you're like, this is so generic.
I can see that.
But I could
being
eat those
addictive,
bitches like all day.
But I could, everybody I talk to is not like
this game's amazing.
They do not defend it at all.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, it's got problems, but I can't stop playing it.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. It's so
odd.
Yeah, it's
so yeah. I'm probably gonna get it when a price drop happens.
if I'll get it when it's on PC. Like I play.
Do you think that's gonna happen?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good idea, but I honestly don't care either way. If it doesn't, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I mean, I played the demo or the alpha or whatever, and I thought it was all right. Like I just don't. Consoles and FPS, just no, just.
Yeah, I definitely would rather play them on PC, but I don't have a problem with them. Like, I don't know. I'll probably play Alien Isolation on PC. But
you should get Sarah to play Alien Isolation.
She might like it, actually. She likes scary games.
Yeah. I wasn't being facetious. I was literally, you should get her to play it.
But I'll probably play Shadow Mortar on PS4. Just because...
Son of a... Get off my podcast. Get out of my house. We're cut.
Oh, man. That is not good radio. I'm sorry for what just happened. That's crazy. But... I mean, I just like to play these games on a gamepad. And
You're
I like
dead
the
to
PS4
me now.
gamepad.
You're dead to me.
Why?
I'm not talking to you.
Just because it's just because the PC version's available?
I should show you what it looks like on my PC before you leave.
I don't have the graphics card that you have, so it's
I'm
probably
looking. I might be selling it soon because I'm looking at getting them that GTX 980 that just came out.
What do you have?
I have a GTX 680.
Okay.
It's nice. It's pretty nice. Especially if you don't have a crazy monitor, because I just bought a new monitor too. And I was looking at, should I get like something crazy, like a 27, well, not crazy, but 27, 28 inch. But I was like, especially since I record, the frame rate would be a problem running it at higher resolutions like that. So I decided, I was like, I'm just going to get a really nice, like 24 inch again.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy with mine so far. Shadow Mortar looks...
What resolution is it?
It's 1920 by 1080.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it's same res.
That's what I'm at too, and that's the thing. I feel like once you're at 1920 by 1080, I mean, you can max out a lot. I mean, there's a lot of games I can max out. I just don't think I could max out Shadow Mortar. You're doing the high res pack too.
I tried it and did a benchmark, and it was okay. Like the average was 40 frames a second, which is not really great, but whatever. So I probably would not use the high res normally, but it's it's possible if you're okay with your frame rate having issues. And sometimes I do have issues, like when I turn quickly.
Yeah,
it kind of goes.
This is like tearing or stutters.
It stutters.
Yeah.
So I've tried to fiddle with a few things, like turning it down to make it so it doesn't look a lot different. Like I notched the AA down a bit. Things like that. The shadows I pretty much always put no higher than medium, because shadows are brutal, and the difference isn't that intense. So visually. So I've just been fiddling around with it, but right now it runs pretty well. But yeah, I've been wanting like a really beastly card for a while.
I mean, I guess I could play it with a 360 controller. I don't know.
I use the keyboard mouse.
Yeah, I just don't. I like those games with gamepad. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that.
Third
Like
person Batman games.
Arkham City, I actually wish if I go back, I would play it with a pad because 95% of the game was fine. The guys with the daggers that you had to like dodge backwards like 3 times in a row was brutal on keyboard and mouse because the directional, it was very specific directional. Most of the times they would hit me at least once. So yeah, I would definitely play that again. But so far, the blocking has just been like either right click or hit dodge in a general direction. So it's been fine. And there's a decent amount of arrow shooting with a bow and arrow, precision shooting, and sometimes you have to do it kind of quick. So I like it for that kind of thing. And there was one part, especially if you watch the video I put up today, you should totally go watch the first 4 minutes. 4 minutes, you have to watch the whole 20 minutes, but where I need to be looking around me a lot to check for orcs, like sometimes they'll go run off to sound an alarm, and you don't want them doing that because it brings a whole lot more orcs or urks, whatever. Urks. Totally different. But yeah, for stuff like that, I really like it. But
well, I don't know. I guess I will have to get the PC version. You think it'll be on the Christmas sale? I mean, that's not till like the week before Christmas.
I think it will be.
I should probably.
But it'll be like 20% off.
I should probably just buy it.
You should. Yeah. They deserve your money.
Yeah,
it's a damn good game.
Okay.
What else has Monolith made?
I don't know.
Like, it seems one of those companies I've seen the name.
Yeah,
of.
I definitely. It's familiar. I know that name, but I just can't recall.
I bet they're like incredibly pleased right now because I can't think of a negative. I think I heard one person say like, "Oh, the game's okay."
Do they have like announced DLC plans?
I know they have a season pass, but I don't know if they have like announced plans.
That's crazy.
I'm still not buying it. I'm still not buying it. The only season pass I've bought.
I never have felt good about buying a season pass. I've bought season pass. I've always regretted it.
I bought it for BioShock when it was $5 on a pricing error, and because that was cheaper than buying 2 of the DLCs that I wanted, so that worked out. The only other DLC I bought and what our DLC season pass was for Dark Souls, and I don't mind that because I trust From Software to not be buttholes about it. Mm-hmm. And apparently these 3 DLC for Dark Souls 2 is actually quite good, which I expected it would be. So cool. I trust them, but everybody else can kiss my ass.
Well, we hope to return back a lot sooner with episode 15 than it took for us to get this episode out. So
yeah, we're making plans to make it more regular, to make it fit around our schedules better. Yeah. And by ours, I mean his, because he's way busier than me.
Well, I actually started a new job, and it was crazy, and I think things are starting to kind of settle down more into a schedule. So I think it might be more possible now. So definitely.
Awesome.
So I guess we already discussed this, but where can the folks at home find you on the internet?
YouTube.com/Vertigo Tea Party. Also, Twitter I'm pretty active on Twitter. At Malachi VT, that's MALACHAI VT, or just search for Vertigo Tea Party.
And you can find me basically with Travesty OJ everywhere. TRAVIS TYOJ on Twitter, TravestyOJ.com, Twitch TV/TravestyOJ. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to my pal Joey. He's got a podcast called Casual Observers, and I was recently on one of their episodes, and they plugged us, and so I figured I'd return the favor and plug them a little bit. They've got a pretty cool podcast about just pop culture stuff. I mean, TV shows, movies, music, just concerts, whatever's going on. And they've got a pretty good show running. They've got a lot of inertia going. They're able to actually pull off the weekly podcast, which is something that we're
We
gonna
had a
learn
little-
some lessons from the casual
Little problems
observers
with that.
and figure out how to do it. So I also have made some changes to the site. Podbean support is pretty terrible, and so I'm moving the podcast audio form to SoundCloud, and there we should be able to upload at a higher bitrate and have higher quality. And then the actual Super Game Talk has a Tumblr, so the Tumblr is just going to reference the SoundCloud, and I think it'll be a lot better that way. So look for us on iTunes, supergametalk.com. We're on Twitter at supergametalk, and have a great week.
Goodbye.
Bye.